Titans win this one against the Patriots 23-7 in the Music City, taking the third and final preseason game, getting ready for game one of the regular season. Welcome into Post Game Live, presented by your New England Ford dealers and Ford trucks. Michael Holley, Tommy Curran, Phil Perry, and Amina Smith here with you, and plenty of things to pick apart with this game, despite the fact that there were no starters out there for the most part tonight. But Holley, I'll start with you. What was the one thing you were looking for in this preseason finale?
One thing I was looking for was a little bit of excitement, something to hold on to, something to be thrilled by, to be invested in. I didn't see it. It was a very boring performance from the Patriots. I think the most exciting thing, and I wonder if you agree with me, Tommy Curran, the most exciting thing I saw was probably the first or second series of the game. Defense out there, some starting players against Ryan Tannehill, and they had their way. They really reestablished the line of scrimmage. But after that, I didn't see much to get excited about for the Patriots.
Yeah, pretty energized. There's more things that you actually observe by what wasn't out there, and there's more areas of concern, I think, that arise because, as I said on Early Edition a few hours ago, Bailey Zappe has not had a good summer. I would say it's been an overall a C- performance for him, simply in performance, and D- in my estimation relative to what I expected. We can get into the reasons for it, whether he's held hostage by the protection. But to me, I think the Patriots really have to have some concerns about their backup quarterback position. Additionally, when you look at the totality of their preseason, Phil, they scored 5 touchdowns, 3 against Green Bay. They scored 1 touchdown at the beginning at the end of the first preseason game, 1 early on here. They had 1 outstanding day of joint practices at Green Bay and 1 bad one. They haven't cobbled together a great amount of consistency.
2 real concerns for me, both on the offensive side of the ball. One is Bailey Zappe and the ball security that he exhibited tonight. 3 fumbles. I know one of those, it felt like, maybe it's from a blindside sort of situation, but I thought 2 of the fumbles, you've got to have much better ball security. If you're going to be dancing around in that pocket, trying to find a lane to throw or a lane to escape, and he never found one, you got to have 2 hands on that ball, man, and holding on to that thing. You're a backup quarterback. This is the one thing you can't do in that job. He did it tonight. Again, 3 different times the ball's on the ground. I also thought the decision-making was a little slow. And, Amina, the other concern for me, the offensive line. We know it's bad. Riley Reif, who was maybe at worst going to be your 6th guy, maybe a super sub on the interior, maybe a swing tackle, has to leave the game injured. More concerns there.
Zappe had a lot of fumble issues last season as well in his time in, even though we look at it and say, hey, he did really well. If you look at some of the finer points of it, they weren't so fine.
8 of 15 for 57 yards. Holley, do the Patriots have a backup QB problem, especially knowing that offensive line, that's been a huge issue?
It appears that they do now, and isn't it interesting that once upon a time, I know nobody here thought this, but once upon a time, somebody thought that this guy could compete for the starting position or that he deserved the starting job over Mac Jones. So Zappe fever, nobody's claiming it right
Everybody's
now.
cured.
Right. We got records, we got receipts, but we'll show some grace. We'll show some grace. We won't bring it up. I don't want to say they need a backup quarterback right now because tonight was such an extreme example. As Curran said, is it the whole chicken egg thing? Is it Bailey Zappe really looking that bad on his own? Is he that bad, or is it just a perilous offensive line situation? And we could see that at the beginning. As soon as they put the starting lineups out there, and you saw, oh, wait a minute, we have Bill Murray tonight, and we have Stuber tonight at left tackle. You see some names out there that is going to be a rough night. And so is that on Zappe or is that on the O-line?
He took 8 sacks in a practice at Green Bay last week. 8.
Yeah.
And Mac had 5, but he had 8. And again, but it's with the same collection of players. And Phil, we've talked about it when we sit on the hill at Gillette Stadium and watch the practice. You just have that ongoing conversation. Throw it. What is he doing? Oh, my God.
So that part of it is, I think, difficult to evaluate. If you're Bill Belichick, if you're Bill O'Brien, they've got a much better sense than we do as to, okay, were the routes run correctly on that particular rep? How effective was the pass protection? Did everybody have their assignments down? But there were things tonight. It wasn't just the ball security. We just showed a couple of those throws. Just straight misses. You have Malik Cunningham on sort of a deep over route. Throw it too wide, incomplete. Very early in the game to Matt Sokol. Nice short throw, stepping up in the pocket. Really high and wide. He got his hands on it, but a bad throw. Those are the things, Amina, that he should be able to do for you. When he has time and he has a little bit of space, he should be accurate. He wasn't accurate. He didn't protect the ball tonight.
Well, here's the second guess. It's not necessarily on Zappe. The second guess is on the third quarterback. They pretty early. They brought in McSorley, and this is not somebody saying after the fact, oh, why didn't they bring in McSorley? You know, at the time, you can see that McSorley really hasn't had a distinguished career. Shouldn't they have brought in a more established veteran quarterback? Not necessarily somebody who's going to challenge Mac, but somebody who can get you through a game. Because if they get beyond Bailey Zappe and you go to McSorley, you either have right now, today, I know it's not going to stay this way, either have McSorley or Malik Cunningham.
But I think every team might be looking at the same situation, the Chiefs included. You get to year 3, hold on, because it's not going to be good. My quibble is that they overestimated Bailey Zappe based on a snapshot of performance, and that between Bill Belichick and Joe Judge, they became very, very big fans of Bailey Zappe because he put his hands at 10-2, did what he was supposed to do in playing from ahead against teams in Cleveland and Detroit who were not good at that time.
I don't want to put this out there as, Mac Jones getting hurt, but we all know that's a possibility during the season, knowing what the offensive line looks like. Curran, should the Patriots be looking for another quarterback when you know what this offensive line looks like, at least like to add to that room, whether it be a veteran or somebody else that could step up in that position?
They have to know exactly and have those guys on speed dial. If they don't bring one in, which I seriously doubt they will, but if they don't bring one in, they better very well know the veteran quarterback situation out there. Your Case Keenums, your Gardner Minshews, anybody who's not nailed down and can take a snap and might be over 5'10". Please, Chris McSorley and Bailey Zappe are smaller players. And Mac's not exactly statuesque either.
Cunningham small too?
It shows up.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and I would say, Michael, to your point, you're looking at a third because if you get to Bailey Zappe, he can't get you through a game. That's got to be the reason he's here. If you're a backup quarterback, you're either the kind of quarterback who can just get you through a game, as Zappe did last year, give him credit for that.
Right.
Or you're the Trey Lance type of backup quarterback where you're a developmental option, you're a young guy, you're Jordan Love the first couple years, he's in the NFL. That's not Bailey Zappe. He's not a groom him to be a starter type. He's got to be we feel good about him for a week, maybe 2, and if he's not that, then I don't know what you do with him.
And this is a newer conversation because I know you've watched Bailey Zappe and said he hasn't had a great camp, and I agree with you overall. C- is a good grade. Okay, C- for him, but we still weren't saying, hey, you got to get rid of, you got to find another quarterback.
You mean a couple months ago?
Yeah, or recently, until today, really. We're not talking about, hey, they need to bring another quarterback in here. So this is a newer concern for them. The larger concern kind of goes with that, and that is the offensive line. So they got a couple of weeks until the first game, and they're going to have one of those August or early September acquisitions along the lines of Ted Washington trade in late August, Roman Pfeiffer coming in August, making one of these acquisitions where it doesn't get a lot of fanfare, but it's necessary because I think they need another guy.
And it's funny, when they found a guy, because Isaiah Wynn couldn't cut it last year and neither could Yodny Kajust, it ended up being a practice squad player from the Jets that they had to bring back that they had released previously, Connor McDermott. I guess the upshot of that is, okay, there's familiarity there, but there's also not a whole bunch of those guys walking around right now who could come in and start playing snaps.
Can I give you a name?
Please do.
The third quarterback in Houston right now, where Nick Caserio resides as general manager, is Case Keenum.
Case Keenum.
Anybody interested in Case Keenum? If they decide they don't want to keep 3 and they say, we're good with Davis Mills and C.J. Stroud, Case, nice knowing you, check you later. If you're the Patriots, that's a guy that I would be.
But is that to release Bailey Zappe? Is that to release? I wouldn't release Zappe.
No.
I'd work too hard, gets the system, all that stuff.
Yeah, you said, am I interested in Case Keenum? Sure. It's so bad after tonight. I'm overreacting. I know, but let me overreact, okay?
Overreact.
Let me
because it has been there.
That's all we have today.
Let's have this moment together on a Friday night. Can we do this? Indianapolis has 3 quarterbacks, one of them being Sam Ehlinger. I would take Sam Ehlinger, who was horrible here last year. They got Ehlinger and they have Gardner Minshew, and obviously they're going to have Anthony Richardson as a starting quarterback. One of those guys is probably going to be available. But I think it's that serious for the Patriots, especially if they think about keeping 3 quarterbacks. I don't know if they will. Phil, I know you got the roster breakdowns, but if they keep 3 quarterbacks, like one of those guys could help, because this was concerning tonight.
Let's get back into the offensive line. We want you to join the conversation by voting in our poll. What's your concern level for the offensive line? They'll be fine when healthy, concerned, but it's early, very concerned, or full panic mode because it could derail the entire season. Go to NBCSportsBoston.com/Patriots to vote, or scan the QR code on the screen and scroll down to poll. I got a little worried when I saw Riley Reiff exit the game. He was able to walk on his own, which was good, but he was taken back into the locker room. Phil, we know that this offensive line, that they've been dealing with injuries all training camp, all offseason. Where's your concern level right now after the preseason finale?
I'm concerned because even though I think they'll be fine when healthy, we know injuries happen, especially up front, any NFL team. And I just feel as though the depth is not such that you would feel good about an injury or two along this line and being able to get through and do everything you want to do. Like, how limited are you is my question if, for instance, Sidy Sow has to start at right tackle for you this season, or you're looking at Antonio Mafi or Chasen Hines starting at left guard for you because Cole Strange isn't ready to go. You can't have every tool in your tool belt at your disposal if you're Mac Jones at the line of scrimmage, in my opinion, if you have those guys out there on the field with you. I asked Mac Jones about that the other day. He said, nope, anybody that's in the huddle with me, we're not doing anybody any favors here because I wasn't done any favors as a rookie. You got to be able to get on this train while it's moving. You're going to be so limited if you have this much inexperience on your line, and it's looking like it's trending that way.
Can I agree with all 4 of those?
I don't know. I don't think that's an option.
Because
above.
I do feel like they're 5 as they're setting out for it to be, even if they have a question mark of right tackle. I saw Connor McDermott strike me dead, I swear I saw it, play at a decent level last year, okay? So when healthy, they will be fine. But it could also derail the season if you get into the Sidy Sow / Riley Reiff / Antonio Mafi brigade. So you got all of them. I agree with all of them.
All of them. I like that. You got votes on all of them. I'm going to look at the positives. Okay, here are the positives. If you look at 3/5.
I'm positive this group.
Yeah, here we go. 3/5. After my panic, now I'm going to be positive. So if you look at 3/5 of the offensive line, healthy guys, you're in pretty good shape. So Trent Brown, when he's engaged, and he's in a contract year, he should be engaged. Trent Brown is good. David Andrews is good. Mm-hmm. Michael Winu is great.
Yep. Wait.
Yeah, I mean, as a guard. I mean, but no, he really is. He's one of the best. He's one of the best in the league. So if you're talking about filling in those other 2 spots, you put that line together. That's a pretty
Strange
good.
will be fine.
That's
not going to kill.
Good. That is a good offensive line. The question is that going to happen? Is that going to happen in the first 2 or 3 weeks? Because if you get that in week 5, you're like, yeah, great. It's week 5. We're struggling now. Now we're 1-4, 2-3. We needed you. Where were you? As Stevie Wonder said, where were you when we needed you last summer? You know. So we needed you. We need you right now.
Do we look at the coaching situation? Another new offensive line coach, Phil, with Adrian Clem taking over, and say, okay, we have to account for a new hand on the rudder here?
Listen, I don't know how well he's done because I have a hard time evaluating his work. Because, again, you've got a 5th-round rookie and a 4th-round rookie. The 4th-round rookie, meanwhile, actually playing a position he hasn't played since 2018. He's at tackle. Sidy Sow played tackle at Eastern Michigan as a freshman, didn't play it thereafter. So you've got young guys in new positions, in a new league, in a new offense with a new language. I don't know how Adrian Clem's doing because I don't know how these guys are going to be able to do just as pros, period.
Well, 64% of the people saying that the offensive line concerns could derail the entire season, and I have to agree. If that offensive line is not right, then the season can go very, very wrong.